So we're gonna talk a little bit about curve cutting, meaning creating a curve. One of the things when people create a curve, the only true way to create a nice curve freehand is to allow the scissor and the hands to move in a circular motion. So if I were to create a curve cut on our lovely model, we would take our first section, basically at the parietal ridge, and I would take a slightly diagonal line mirroring her natural growth pattern. The width would roughly be about a comb width or a finger width. The other hair would simply be tucked behind her ear. And when I take this section, what I want to do is I want to make a curved shape and rotate. Now notice, even with her sitting, not being in a cutting chair, the body posture isn't as open. So I have to really adjust and literally stand over the top of her, which is really hard when they're sitting in a chair. So what we tend to do as hairdressers is we'll step over and we'll carve backwards, which means we're then gonna be cutting off our corner that you work to establish in your one length line. So to avoid that, we're gonna have her stand up. So if you would, please stand up for me. So now that she's standing, it allows her whole body position to be open so I can address my shape. I can visually see what I'm trying to create. Whereas as she's sitting, I'm looking down on her. I have a whole different perspective of the haircut. This allows me to see things in its natural fashion and how it's gonna fall. So with that being said, I can literally comb that hair into shape. I can step around and visually see the shape or curve I'm trying to create. So when we have her stand, I can then step slightly offside from her and I can take my section and I can rotate through and have full range of motion. When they're sitting, you don't have that element. So you want to keep all your possibilities open because you as the artist need to be able to create, and if you can't get things where they need to be, you're not going to create what you want to design. And what you do to one side, you would then do to the other. So you keep them very consistent and systematic. On another note, take 10. When you're cutting a one length line with longer hair, we like to have them stand up. The reason I want them to stand up is I want all this hair falling in a natural fall versus if she's sitting, you have the shoulder of the chair, you have their back and shoulders and neck posture naturally changes. So to really ensure the best line by having them stand and not elevate the hair to us, we gain more control in the haircut. Once you accomplish cutting the back with them standing, then you would have them turn and face you, and you would have them look over their opposing shoulder, which then brings the back guide into the side, and everything is now into a flat section, so I can clearly see what I'm trying to create and I can tie into my back guide. Again, without elevation and making sure your line stays very consistent and very clean.